About, I guess, with what happened here tonight, I guess, are you happy the way that things are progressing, I guess, with this, or would you like to have seen Dan come down and say, look, can we work this out before we get to this point, or what?
There's no, I appreciate you coming down, there's no debate. It's not, hey, let's negotiate or compromise. He's got to have bylaws that are in accordance with the DNC's bylaws. Now, that's not just my opinion, that's the opinion of the chair of the DNC's Rules Committee. You can't get much higher than that. And until that happens, the sanctions remain in place. Now, Dan, if the bylaws say he has to call a meeting in 7 days or 5 days, whatever the window is, he can certainly call a meeting, adjust the bylaws. He must have a revote in accordance, because we don't recognize the vote as ever occurring. Once that occurs, then access to the voter file and the sample ballot begins. The examiner's role continues.
Real quick, he was mentioning that that they haven't been cut off. Have they been cut off, or there's a discrepancy?
The voter file has been cut off. Dan's not on the voter file, so he's never been trained on it. So he would not know that.
Okay.
So the voter file is something, it's an online tool that candidates, elected officials, and others have access to. It's web-based, and you log in. We track everyone who's on it. There are hundreds of people on it, precinct workers to candidates running for, the candidate running for Secretary of State, Nina Turner, everyone in between. So we know who's on and what is occurring. Oh, no. Cameramen don't have any questions. Yes, ma'am.
Jennifer Ballagher.
Yeah, sure, Jen. Sorry.
Yeah, Dan and his attorneys are trying to say that you went against the ODP's bylaws with the sanctions, because he was trying to say that the sanctions are only issued as far as the voter mailings and that kind of stuff goes if they're not paying their dues. I'm not sure exactly what the exact language was for that, sure. But what do you have to say about that?
The bylaws are available online. You can review them. There's a chapter and verse regarding malfeasance and kinds of actions that a chair or anyone may encounter that allows some flexibility for me to do the things that are necessary to keep order within the party. And with all due respect to Chairman Polivka or anyone else, he's free to run for State Central Committee and do what he thinks will make our party stronger. His representatives from Trumbull County voted in support of the resolution. Sean O'Brien spoke, as you heard, in support of the resolution. So, strong personalities have strong differences of opinion. In this case, I've been wrong before, but in this case, no, I'm right. And the DNC's rules and the Ohio Democratic Party's rules are the rules that have to be reflected by the Trumbull County Party. And let me say this: after I'm done here, Bill DeMora, who's behind us, he can go into detail about the particular rule, the number, the chapter, and walk you through it if you like.
Can you just give like a brief rundown of this, how this process is going to work? What comes next in this investigation?
It's an examination. And that's Tim Burke, who is chair of the Hamilton County Party. He is a former county chair of the year. He's one of the leaders of our organization and has been for many, many years. He was formerly chair of the Chairs Association. He has been charged by the executive committee with collecting the facts and reporting back those facts to the executive committee for censure. I think it was censure or removal, or we'll get you the resolution. But it's his job to go up there and collect the facts and then report back to the executive committee. The facts are quite clear by his own admission. Chairman Polivka did not follow ODP laws, bylaws, and he did it because he thought it wasn't rooted in democracy. The foundation of our government, he said, was rooted in the secret ballot. So you can't have secret ballots. It's against the rules. And oh, by the way, members of Congress in the Continental Congress and to today have to vote publicly. And the Declaration of Independence, as we all remember, was signed by people. It wasn't secret. So, he's entitled to his opinion. He's just wrong.
Am I understanding this right? They did a secret ballot, but then they came back and did a voice vote at some point. And why wasn't that sufficient?
secret ballots are strictly prohibited by the DNC and the ODP.
But the voice vote doesn't count after that point, or?
You can't have 6 secret ballots, 3 secret ballots, and 2 secret ballots to clear up all the concern about opponents, and then have one voice vote for the one person that's left. It's on its face. It's not worth responding to.
Sanction-wise, voter list, any other sanctions that are in place?
Access to the voter file, access to sample ballots, access to the voter indiction, the reduced postage that state parties, Republican and Democrat, offer. That's all been eliminated by this resolution for candidates, elected officials, and activists in Trumbull County. Now, there will be some exceptions. Multi-jurisdictional candidates, for instance, can achieve access to the voter file through adjoining districts or adjoining counties. For instance, Congressman Tim Ryan's an example of that.
Is there a time frame for this examination?
I hear a lot of things. I hear a lot of things about whether or not they're going to meet and change their bylaws next week, or so. It's as long as that takes, okay? But if it doesn't happen, then there's 2 months, and that's prescribed as well, 60 days, and then we'll meet again and we'll take this matter up again.
If they change the bylaws, do you still pursue removing him?
The chair is empowered to remove sanctions when things are remedied, and that's I'm hopeful that Chairman Polivka comes to his senses, and with all due respect to the good press and the Warren Chronicle Tribune, that this may be affording the readers, I'm sure they'd much rather talk about why we continue to struggle as a state under John Kasich's leadership, why the things that matter to most everyday Ohioans just simply don't matter to John Kasich, how he can go before the farming community, for instance, this week, and suggest that his administration has done great things in the agricultural community without even talking about his rollback of the kinds of property tax credits and reductions that we've worked for. Sorry about that. That's all right.
That's a good place to interrupt.
Let's get on a roll.
So if they change the bylaws at this point, is this over?
We would view it as something that Bill, the liaison to the county party, would go up and review the bylaws, ensure that a revote took place. Once that occurs, the sanctions would be lifted. Tim Burke would continue his examination, come back with the facts, make a recommendation to the executive committee. Based on his recommendations, we would proceed accordingly. I suspect that he would recommend that because the remedy has been sought and received, that we should move on.